kind of over-helping and deep concern for me, for my babies. Sometimes I think it was for my husband, because I think everybody thought that I was going to have these babies and my husband was going to do everything. So I actually used to hear a whole lot of poor Ken in the background. Again, when people thought I couldn't hear it. You know, in many ways it comes from a good place. People want to help, right? People want to be supportive. People want to see you happy. People want to see you healthy, and so they want to provide support. It does come from a desire to see us thrive. I believe that. And I think that's what we want for all new parents. We want to support all new moms and babies to thrive. And that's all good, but one of the things that I often think about when I think about disability and the ways that we respond to disability, the question I often ask myself is, am I really helping? Is what I'm doing actually support, or is it actually working against support? Is it working against their ability to thrive as new moms and to just get their legs under them? All right, next slide. So I think in many ways it's probably important for us to think about what all of this is rooted in. Because as I spoke to some teachers this morning, we kind of talked a lot about theory and the fact that not everybody is like me and loves theory. Except that everything we do comes from theory. It comes from a way of making sense of the world. It comes from a way of trying to understand the world and the way the world is put together. And so I think it's important to think about where these things come from and how theories sort of generate ways of thinking about disability, which in turn generate ways of responding to disability in our midst. We are pervasively subjected to the well-meaning but ill-informed perspectives of others around disability. There's no question. They're rooted in culture, and they're rooted in all of the ways that people make sense of and work to understand disability and disabled people. We're a little bit elusive to people. They don't understand us. They don't understand always how we can possibly think we live good lives as disabled people. And those are the kinds of harmful beliefs, I think, even though they're well-intended, that really set us up for failure in some respects and work against our ability to be successful and to kind of build lives and sort parenting on our own terms. Okay, so the next slide. So the next one is titled Disability as Deficit. Probably the most common disability trope when we think about disability, we think about and define it in terms of lack, in terms of inability, in terms of deficits, in terms of the things that we can't do or the things that people fear we can't do. It's broadly understood and responded to as an individual problem. So disability is all about what's wrong with me. Blindness is disability for most people. It's a deficit inherent within an individual person, and this is the important part, that in our minds renders them incapable of living out their lives with dignity and with capacity. And so that is the basic way that we construct disability, and it's really what drives our responses to disability. So next slide, where does this come from? Sounds worse when we say it all out loud, right? But it comes from somewhere, again, and it comes from sort of ableist thinking about the world. So ableism isn't really one of the isms we talk about a lot. Is it one people are familiar with? Yeah? I'm glad to hear that. Because it's not, interestingly, working in the disability movement even early on. It was not a term we ever used. It wasn't something I was really aware of. And yet it's a very powerful ism because it's really deeply entrenched in our ways of thinking. And it's almost invisible. We don't really know it's there.